Coming to Shudder on April 4th, we have a new film called 825 Forest Road, and I want to thank the fine folks over at Shudder for sending me over an early screener to check this film out and let you guys know if this film is worth a watch. And if you like early reviews like this on the occasion, and you like movie reviews in general, definitely hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, and comment below your thoughts on this film, or if you haven't seen it, let me know what is one of your favorite Shudder films on the streaming service. Now, this was directed by Cognetti, and he's known for the Hell House films, which I've never seen any of those before, but those are the main films that he has worked on. And this film, it stars Elizabeth Vermilyea, Kathryn Miller, and Joe Falcone. And it's basically about a man named Chuck, his wife named Maria, and his little sister named Elizabeth. They move into this new house that is apparently haunted, and this town that they've moved in called Ashland Falls, well, apparently that town has a dark secret. Now, I didn't know anything about this film going into it. I will say that the poster was kind of generic, and the name, it's kind of generic. I have to say, like, a lot of films that I've watched where they have, like, road names, they usually aren't that good. So I had, like, the littlest of hope for this film, mainly just because of my experience with films like that. And I'll start off with the positives of this film, that there is this mannequin that Maria has. She is a vlogger, and she does something with fashion, I believe. They actually have a part in this film where the mannequin is behind her while she's vlogging, and it actually moves. And that part was kind of scary to me. I thought it was done very well. There's another scene with a haunting that has some really good makeup that I actually did like, and I think that scene was actually effective. But that's really where the positives really end for this film, because for me, this film was a drag. It's told in chapters. There is 4 of them, and one of the chapters really involves Chuck. You have Isabel, who is the sister, and you have Maria, and then you have like the ending chapter, which I won't really go too much into that because that really goes into the ending. So it really goes into the perspective of each character, and like Chuck, he has his whole thing of what he's really doing as far as like trying to research the town. And then you have Isabel. We learn a little bit about her backstory and like the friction between her and her brother and how he wasn't really around that much. And we also learn that their mother passed away, so that's another reason why they've kind of got a fresh start and they're at this new house. And then you have the wife, Maria. We learn a little bit about more of her character and like her predicament, which I guess I'll give the movie props because at least it gives you like a different perspective of each character. So I guess that's like another positive I can really throw in there. But at the same time, yeah, it does have that new perspective, but you do kind of get the story kind of told over just a little bit, but at the same time, like, it has a little bit of fresh perspective. A lot of things that actually happen in this film, they just felt really generic. I was really predicting as the film was going along what was going to happen. And this film, one of the cardinal sins that it does that I cannot stand in movies is it holds your hand the entire time during this film. It doesn't let you figure out anything for yourself, and it gives you a ton of exposition. Almost every scene is explaining everything in exposition to hold your hand and not let you figure it out and just dumb down the audience, which I couldn't stand. That's why I hated this movie. This is also shot during the day. There's no nighttime scenes at all. So some of the hauntings that are really going on within this film, it's all during the day. So to me, it's a little bit less effective. There is just certain characters in here, especially like involving like a library, that just seem really generic to me. Stuff that we've seen many of times, and you can kind of predict the next scene, what's going to happen next. You hear this whole thing with this woman named Helen who haunts the town. And that's kind of like the main reason for this movie, is this woman named Helen. She was bullied and she ended up killing herself. And so she's a ghost and she's haunting this town. And they're also trying to find this 825 Forest Road that apparently isn't on a map. And they have to find this supposed house to basically make Helen go away. It is a slow burn film, and it doesn't have like a ton going on, despite the fact that it does kind of share a lot of exposition about the town and share a little bit about this woman named Helen who killed herself. I don't know, I just wasn't like that really thrilled by the movie. I felt like, for me, this is kind of one of those films that Shudder usually doesn't really have kind of films like this. I mean, it seems like a film that's, I guess, a little bit different for like one of their originals, but for me, like, I just felt like as the movie was going along, I just wasn't really loving the movie all that much. And I don't really have that much more to say about it, because there just isn't like a ton really going on here. Again, like the hand holding, it doesn't work for me at all. And by the time the film actually ended, I was like, that's it, huh? So yeah, I just wasn't thrilled by this film. It didn't really entertain me like a ton. I mean, outside of a few moments, a few of the cool little scares that they're putting on, I mean, sure. I mean, those were good, but I mean, acting wasn't like terrible. I will say that acting wasn't bad, but I mean, it's just not a film I liked like at all. I just hated the fact that it's just too much hand holding and just really just not trusting the audience. When you can't do that, it really just turns me off. So as far as a score for this film, I would give it a 1 out of 5. I just wouldn't waste your time, honestly. But if you like these kind of films, generic road films, I'll say, because I've seen quite a bit of these kind of films, and like I said, they usually don't turn out to be all that great. And this one, I just think overall it's kind of a miss, and it feels like something where the director wanted to do something a little bit different, because he's known mainly for like found footage films, and this one is more of a ghost story. And, you know, ghost stories can kind of go either way for me. But for me, on this one, I didn't really agree with the fact that it was shot during the day and having no nighttime scenes. I thought, for me, that just took away tension of this film. And I thought they could have done a lot more, especially with, like, the mannequin scene and also the scene where they have the ghosts actually haunting them. I think that if that's during the night, you could have some really terrifying scenes. And there's just none of that in this film. And that's why this film really fails for me and just really isn't really worth your time. Let me know down in the comments, what did you guys think about 825 Forest Road? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you just think it was kind of meh? And if you haven't checked it out yet, are you going to check it out now that it's on the streaming service? But if not, let me know down in the comments also, what is one of your favorite Shudder horror films? Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.